Take note.
And we are recording. Tonight is, I'm just your co-host. We have Rodasi, and we are talking about goddess archetypes tonight. So I'm going to plug in my microphone, maybe. Here we go. All right.
What a setup, Mary. Great.
I know. Curtains. Getting high tech around here.
Well, yeah. I do like the curtains. I like that better. I like it better. Can't see the mess.
Well,
do we want to do a little intro?
Yeah.
I know everybody. So I'm Mary. This is Rodasi.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Daisy. I'm Leo.
Yay. Okay.
Hi, everybody.
No. Okay.
So I started working with goddess archetypes probably before I knew that I was, and I heard you two talking about pantheons and the gods, goddesses, and all of that out there. And my first intro to it was in fourth grade when I had a Greek teacher for my fourth grade teacher, and so she taught a lot of the things, the subjects, through the lens of mythology. And it was the first time that I felt like I could put crazy stuff in life in categories and it felt safer. You know, life was a little nuts even by that point in my world. And so hearing about these gods that were, you know, not necessarily evil, but not so nice, the dark goddesses and gods, the light ones, the young ones, the whatevers, something in me that made sense too. And then again in like seventh grade, we were looking at Greek and Roman mythology. And again, I was like eating it up. It's helping me to like do some subconscious stabilizing of my own experiences, I think. And then I learned a little bit about gods, Hindu gods, goddesses from a yogic perspective when I was studying yoga and meditation in 1999, 2000, 2001. And I also started to study women's spirituality right around that time. And in 2002, found a teacher, a women's spirituality teacher, who one of the things she had us do in our apprenticeship was choose a goddess card. And I brought a goddess deck tonight, but this is Colette Baron Reed's goddess power deck. And we have I've had several different kinds of goddess decks over the years. So she had a deck, and it was not this one, it was I can't remember the name of it. And I don't think it's even like anymore. But she had us all like in ceremonial fashion, we drew a card, and that whether we got, whether we liked it or not, whether we understood it or not, that's who we got, and that's what we were gonna get to know during our apprenticeship. And so our apprenticeship lasted like 9 months. We were doing the shamanic herbalist apprenticeship. And I thought that sounded cool because I like things that categorize me or anything, you know, it's helpful. But I got the Sphinx and I was like, this isn't a goddess. This is like a thing out of Egypt. I can't even, but I went with it and I got some stuff out of getting to know that particular mythological figure and did see how it related in my own world and my own life, and really I felt like that archetype integrated into me. However, once I became the teacher and I became, you know, the space holder for other women, I didn't have the Sphinx in my deck, and it was just straight up goddess. Over the years of studying our history, women's spirituality from around the planet, I saw the same goddess show up with a different name all over the planet, and gods, you know, the goddess of love, the goddess of beauty, usually in every culture, the goddess of water in every culture, the god or goddess of the sun, depending on where you're at, or a sky goddess of some sort, the earth mother goddess. Everywhere you looked, there was this same, theme. And one of the things that we were encouraged to do was to look at our own ancestry and like discover what our ancestors were doing, who were they thinking these gods and goddesses were, and what, if any of them related to us or for us. So I've done some of that, but more often than not, I've watched other women through the teaching that I've done utilize these different goddesses and have to work with them and see where is this playing out in my life. So Mary and I talked about that really briefly earlier. What is the use of this besides it's just interesting? How does this actually improve and enhance our lives? So I want to talk about this in terms of a couple different levels that I have explored it on. And one is intellectual, studying it, looking it up. Here's the card, let's say. And I get Sophia. And so Sophia used to not be represented anywhere really. And Sophia is supposed to be either the wife of God or the mother of God, depending on which place you're looking at this information. And Sophia is a word, right? It's a word that points to a specific quality of existence, beyond existence, but also within existence, within each one of us. So, so you can research, what do they say out there about Sophia? Where does this come from? What culture, what part of the world? When did it kind of change or die off? When did it come back? She could start to come back. How is that? Is this something I can relate to here? It's divine wisdom. Well, all over the planet, there are goddesses of wisdom like Kuan Yin, and Isis, and whoever else, all over the planet. Then we have Epona, who's wise leadership in this deck, which this is not how I was necessarily introduced to this goddess. And she's, I think, Celtic.
Well, Celtic Germanic is kind of
there's a little bit of
overlap.
crossover.
Yeah.
But I had never heard of her. She's connected to horses. She's connected to wildness. Sounds to our wildness.
Edane is the Celtic. So I believe Epona is the Germanic.
More Germanic. Yeah. It's like sticking to my lips. There's a little flying. What? Sticking to your lips? So she's like a warrior goddess in a way. You can look at it like that as Artemis, but there's a different flavor and a different quality to each. Spider woman, who's part of, in essence, that many of the native indigenous gods and goddesses, if you will, we lost a lot of that information, but Spider Woman is retained, and she's thought of as co-creator. This co-creator with not like co-creator with all of life, not like co-creator like with a dude, like a dude who sits in the sky. She's co-creator with life itself. And you get to have within your relationship with any of these, look and see what's true for you. So here's the goddess. Here's what they say about it. Here's what they say about it. Here's what this book says about it. Here's the images. Here's what makes sense to me about this. So this is one way of working with these. I'm just pull. Skuld is a Norse goddess. who I actually haven't worked with, and I'm going to talk to you more about what I mean by worked with. Mary, which actually was a title of priestesses of women who are devoted to the mysteries, to the sacred mysteries of life, and not just a name.
Like Merlin is not a name. Yeah. Okay.
This is what I understand from my lineage. I have as a high priestess and in the Magdalene lineages, which was broken essentially, but it's trying to weave its way back together. So that's what we've been taught. The Morrigan, one of my favorite
I
goddesses.
love her. Oh yeah.
That's fun.
That one's yours.
Yeah.
So the goddess of death and magic, and many of the death goddesses are associated with alchemy and magic. Isis is mother goddess of birth and life and death, and it's like covers it all, right? So there are goddesses that embody like that totality, and then there's goddesses that just embody a piece of that totality. And let's see. I don't even know where she comes from. I could look it up. But she's a moon goddess. There's a lot of times, most of the times, the moon is associated with a goddess. With the feminine, masculine force. Lakshmi is one of the yogi goddesses. It says fortune on here, and she is a goddess of fortune, but also of love and beauty and the things that bring pleasure. So that's one level, right? I look at a card, Oshun. Oshun is an African goddess. I love Oshun. She's powerful energy. So, hey, come back. I almost had it. I need to be more like Mr. Miyagi.
I think that every
It was
time
Daniel
apply.
that's got it though,
Oh,
wasn't it?
Eventually.
Because Miyagi said beginner's luck.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you remember.
Well, it was played. I don't know, like 6 months ago. So I saw them again.
Oh,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
kid.
Oh yeah. So a
I've seen
long
it.
time
Okay.
ago. Oh, okay. I was gonna say a long
Well,
time
They
ago.
have Cobra Kai now on Netflix. So
Yeah.
I think everybody knows.
But anything from the 80s, I'm like, okay. So a long time ago, there was.
I'm a 90s baby. I'm not that young.
Okay. Fair enough.
It is strange though to see our age. You don't know about this. What is going on?
I mean, I was raised kind of sheltered, so there's a lot of things that I don't know about that everybody is like, I don't even know this.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sheltered.
That's kind of nice. So the other level, besides intellectually, like here's the picture, here's the pictures, the images, here's what people say about it, there's some things I can do. Intellectually to study this and look and observe in my own life where this feels true. And to kind of piggyback on that more metaphysical realm rather than the intellectual realm, I was taught to meditate on her, to let her, to do shamanic journeying to her, to talk to her like I was talking to God, like we were taught to pray, or an ancestor passes over, your grandma or something that you talk to. Yes, some of us do that. And that you would welcome that energy in as, like, hey, acknowledge you're here, as if it were a quality of the universe that's within you or around you. And so different people have different comfort levels and interests in that. But to let's say call in Scold, for example, if I want to know about Scold, I personally, and I invite my students to meditate on her first and not research, but some people are very voracious, like I have been, and like, no, I need to know all this stuff. Okay, you can't tell me not to study her. I'm studying her. And so, you can put images on your altar and things like that, and just tune in, like, hey, just reveal yourself to me. Oshun, reveal yourself to me. Certainly with each goddess, there have been practices, and especially for traditions that are still alive, and or people have been practicing, like a lot of the Norse goddesses, a lot of the Celtic goddesses, some and a bunch of the African goddesses, that they have been paid attention to. They're easy for us to access. The ones who haven't been as much might be, it may not be, but often a little bit like harder because less people paid attention to them. It's not as much of a concentrated thought form. So it's a very interesting thing to kind of to play with that and try to tune into that. So you can create an altar space. You can meditate on with eyes open or closed. You can take shamanic journeys. You can write, and this is one of my favorite things to do. Like I was taught automatic writing a long time ago, and in a creative writing class, and then also I was taught it here.
I would never think that you'd learn it in creative writing class. That's
I had
funny.
an awesome teacher.
Oh.
But it was not like, close your eyes and channel. It was like, just start writing something and see what all you can get written down and be free and open.
Okay.
And, which is still
Yeah.
that, but in a way.
Yeah.
So you act like, let's say it's Scold. Scold, tell me what you got for me, sister. Like, let me, who are you? Where do you come from? What is it? What is the essence of you? And, like, as though I'm tuning into, again, a grandmother or an archangel or I don't know what, right? Like, it's part makeup play, like, hey, I'm tuning in. I gotta be in that realm of the intuitive, playful child, and I've got to be like not afraid to do it wrong. I just gotta go for it. And you start writing, and stuff gets revealed, and then you go look it up, and you go, dude, this is what they said about her, and some of it maybe not. Some of it's like maybe not, but you don't doubt that. You just go, well, I'm gonna look to see if this energy being in my life plays out this way. So if somebody tells me Lakshmi's the goddess of abundance, I'm not gonna just go, okay, right, I'm gonna chant Lakshmi's name when I need cash. I'm gonna be like, where is that quality at, and how can I like kind of invite it in and call her in, call that energy in, see where that resonates. Where does that abundant vibe resonate? The abundant vibe is Lakshmi. It's not that Lakshmi brings it, even though that's one way to approach it. It's like, can I attune to the vibe of one of the goddesses that I've worked with for a long time is Freya, which is another Norse goddess, and Freya, Isis, Kuan Yin. Mary Magdalene isn't necessarily a goddess, that energy, and some others, but Freya, I would say, well, they told me she's all of these things. Okay, like, where's that at? You show me. And after having worked with her for a long time in these various ways, as well as researched her, and I play my drum, and I like do my rituals or whatever, and I'm acknowledging, all of a sudden I can feel her just like I can feel when my sister shows up from the other side. I know who it is, I know what it is. So there's that, and then there's the whole like, she showed this to me. You're not just calling on this thing to come in, like the wind, for example. There's an element of wind right now, and I tune into that, and as we put our attention on something, it grows. So put your attention on it, and it grows. And you have to do the research to play with that and see. Don't take my word for any of this. You do your own exploration and see. So if you want, though, like we have done with some of the magic stuff and some of the moon stuff in the past, you can also approach it like, look, chanting the name of Lakshmi or using her Sanskrit chant mantra with the intent to align with abundance and the capacity to receive that in yourself is powerful. It teaches you so many things. But chanting Sanskrit, it's like calling in the essence of whatever's closest to you to put you in a position to notice the opportunity, notice where you can make the thing happen that will put you in a greater state of abundance, get you in alignment with gratitude, which is you abundance, and more, you know. So you can utilize it as medicine. I'm putting in this element to help produce this result. You can treat it that way for sure. But it's really beautiful to get to know, like my teacher had us work with one plant for an entire year. We could work with other plants, but we worked with that one plant, just like I worked with one goddess, right? Get to know it, it becomes an ally, that energy becomes an ally. Then all of a sudden it's like you have a robust, real relationship with this thing. And it opens the door for you to get to know all the rest of them all over the place very much more easily. That doesn't mean, like we just were saying, that some of them would feel elusive. Or even, you know, you see, like I used to be very unattracted and repulsed by the Norse pantheon. And I'm like a quarter Norwegian, you know, so I think some of it was probably like some DNA stuff, some like, yeah, no, or either that or my native ancestors were like in me going, they're the ones who took our land, stay away, you know. I don't know, but sometimes there's something in there that, you know, it's producing a push, a rub. And at some point, like it becomes one of your favorite things, like a lot of Scandinavian stuff is very, very, the moodiness and the music, the traditional cultural music and things are very attractive to me now. And it's very funny to me that a lot of the old Scandinavian Norse stuff feels very similar to me with some of my native ancestry from the indigenous North America. There's some robust depths in some of this stuff that are parallel, you know, that I wouldn't have thought. And so you discover things about the magical realm, and you discover things about what's already existing within you, and you can discover things about your own ancestry and some conflicting things inside of your DNA and inside of your soul even. You know, why I would feel attracted to this and repulsed by that, knows exactly, but it could have some clues to what body you were in on one part of the planet, some other point in our history. Very cool stuff. So that was one of the other things I was supposed to pay attention to with the different pantheons and the different cultures and the different goddesses. Who do you feel called to? Who do you feel repulsed by? So some women would be like, I want the fairy princess goddess. Which one is the really pretty one? I don't want the hag one, you know? And that girl is usually super identified with being the pretty girl who is a fairy princess. You know, she doesn't know how to, and leads with her sexuality a lot usually. And I was that girl at one point. So I didn't want anything to do with any of the dark goddesses. I didn't want anything to do with, you know, the old crone figures. You know, and then I was like, they're funny. I mean, they're they're awesome. Those dark goddesses are awesome, and I need to embrace this part of myself, which helped heal trauma for me. It helped me come out of actually some underworld stuckness that I was in, and like find my way back to the light, bring parts of myself back to myself. To be able to also uncover, you know, like that bodhisattva energy in me. Like I can just sit still. I don't, you know, I whatever the universe wants me to be. And this is the other thing. You've got the bodhisattva goddesses like Kuan Yin and Tara and the such, the sage-like stillness centered enlightened goddesses. We've got the wild, childlike, joyful goddesses. We've got the warrior goddesses, the Amazon goddesses. We've got some of my favorite ones now are the underworld goddesses, honestly. Like, yes, totally dig. So it can teach you a lot about yourself and your wholeness of self. Even though we can also look at, like, Sally Kempton wrote a book called Awakening Shakti. You probably have it out there. Usually do. And it's all about, it's specific to Hindu goddesses because it's yoga, yogic goddesses. And since those names are used now in our yoga classes and stuff, she's a Westerner who is an anthropologist, also a vowed yogi like myself, and I'm not an anthropologist, but she and I both have taken vows within that system. And so as I've been studying yoga and consciousness for 20 years, it was easy for me to be like, this book, I gotta have it. Plus, I study women's spirituality and love goddesses. So she breaks it down in the most fantastic way, where Shakti is the divine feminine consciousness, and it has many faces, including ours. And it is broken down into these three qualities of the universe: creative, destruction, destructive, and maintaining, and broken down from there in different qualities of that, and broken down from there and so there's just like the essences of all the different things that exist, and that is a mythology, but it's also a reality. It's also a reality that, like, you might have more of the maintaining quality of the universe. I might have more of the destructive quality of the universe. You might have more of the creative quality of the universe, as well as the other two components to whatever degree, which make us up in these unique oncenesses, and as our own expression of the divine feminine. So, or the divine, we don't have to say feminine, but since we're talking about goddess archetypes, so she talks about, she brings in these different points of like how you can work with these goddesses. She tells their story. She uses their mantra, shares the mantras that you can chant out loud or meditate with. And as somebody who's been a student of meditation for a long time and taught it for quite a long time as well, I find that you can utilize any one of these goddesses that you might work with in that same way. So there aren't Sanskrit mantras for each goddess. From Egypt, there's not a Sanskrit chant for her. There's not one for our indigenous North Americas. But you can use, like, getting into, some breathing, and get into a sort of a meditative space and allow for this quality of the goddess to come in. And even if it's just, I'm focusing on the name Skuld and giving some space, and if there's something that arises that wants to, reveal itself, some quality that I feel in my own body or some awareness that I have in my mind, to allow for that to come and just focus on the name again, Skuld, and see what arises, and just keep playing with that with spaciousness around it. So I'm not trying to make a visualization happen. I'm not trying to make anything in particular happen. I'm allowing space for whatever wants to reveal itself, even if there's a lot of space, nothing much is happening. I'm giving an invitation for that thing to come forward in me and reveal itself, or that archetypal force. So the other thing I want to share about that is that the actual celestial realm of our planets are named after
Mhm.
gods and goddesses. And if we didn't have this machinery, we might see actual gods and goddesses out there. There might be gods and goddesses surrounding us in a parallel reality that we cannot have access to. Earlier today, Mary and I were talking about some parallel realities of
Mhm.
the magical realm that sometimes we might have access to. If there's access to a realm where there's ghosts and ancestors passed over, if there's access to a realm where there's fairies and dragons and whatever else, unicorns, if there's access to those things, there's access to a world where these thought forms called gods and goddesses may exist as well.
The ancient Celts, they have oodles of stories where you could just like, someone just accidentally fell into the fairy realm, or the gods would just walk into our realm. And then it's theorized that over time, when we became less in tune with Mother Earth, that that access became more like a wall as opposed to like this thin membrane.
That feels true to me. Yeah.
I could see
Yeah, totally
as we
feels
move
true to
out of
me.
our survival state to civilized state, I can totally see.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when I teach women about when we're calling in directions and I teach them about the above, I teach this, this is the realm where we connect to, yes, there's planetary influence, and if you're an astrologer, you may be really connected to that realm. It's a, we think of the celestial realm as angels as well as the planets,
Mhm.
that there's these angelic forces that are unseen and not fully like, they're more ethereal than they are, they're more energy than they are a gross level, body. And so, upper chakra stuff, up here, as well as I always talk about this, like the realm of the gods and goddesses. And whatever way you want to pick this, choose this, whatever works for you to resonate when you're calling in the above. If it doesn't resonate for you that it's the realm of the gods and goddesses, don't say that, but for me, it seems maybe they're not just there, maybe they're like here, but I like to point out that if I could see with more celestial vision, I might see this planet as a living being. I might see those planets as a living being, and the sun itself as well, and the entire cosmos. And many of our ancient scriptures that are left on the planet have what we call mythologies that say just that. They say just that. And I find that when there's a truth, it's sort of captured all over the planet.
Mhm.
So I like your bringing in, Mary, that this is something that could have maybe at one time we absolutely could, we experienced that somehow, and we lost that ability over time of where our attention went.
Mhm.
Again, where you put your focus on grows, and if our attention is mostly on this gross level reality and facts and needing to prove things within this realm, I ain't got no time or energy for those fairies. So anybody have any questions or anything that about that? I wanted to just take us through an exercise to experience like a little something here, but does anybody have any questions?
No, it's kind of like Mount Olympus, really. That's Greek mythology, but Mount, the gods are on Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
That's the realm of God.
Mhm.
I believe it.
And to touch on something you said a while ago, there are those that say that the gods need us as much as we need them, because if they're forgotten, like how many, like some got recycled. Like Hecate originally was a mountain goddess, and then the Greeks, I forget what she was to the Greeks, but then you know how the Romans took everything
Yeah,
the Greeks had.
adulterated it.
Yeah, and then she turned into the goddess of the night and the crossroads and all that. And then of course then she got demonized. But they what about all the gods and goddesses that just disappeared or withered away or whatever.
Hawaiian culture is full of it. Like there's a lot. Like Hawaiian culture, like they don't embrace their gods and goddesses. They embrace Pele and like some of the other ones, but there are so many others that just went away when the white man.
Yeah. Yeah, well hula had to go underground.
Hula's not even what hula was.
Well, yeah, that's,
Like
there's two kinds. There's for the howlies,
Yeah.
you know, for
Yeah.
the tourists, and then there's the real like devotional hula.
Yeah.
But I mean, thank goodness that it did go underground. Otherwise, it would have died out too.
Right.
Yeah, because dancing is evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
puritanical living, man.
Yeah.
What a bunch of crap.
Right. I'm not past death of all fun.
That's the actual way to say that.
Just go ahead and pull one out of there just for this exercise we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a little visualization. if that's all right?
Awesome.
And we'll play with no, you
Oh,
keep yours.
Okay, well, I'll go last.
Okay.
So that way.
Of course, you heard of her.
Was it?
Demeter.
Oh.
Or Demeter.
I say Demeter.
I
It's
say
like
both.
tomato, tomato.
Both of them. I've studied a bunch of private school. I went to like 5th grade. We did India and Persia and Egypt. And
Nice.
6th grade we did Greek, and then 7th grade we did Roman.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
there's a lot of this that Demeter. Oh yeah, I know her.
Caredwin. Nice. And then history is usually written by men who makes these women out to be slutty or whatever. You know what I mean? Like evil,
Yeah.
bad, whatever.
It's like Hollywood.
And I'm not saying every man's evil. I'm not saying that, but I don't want to get like.
Did you get someone you don't know?
Bridget.
I actually have been hearing about her in my studies of Morgan, because the Morgan did
Oh,
make
whoops.
herself present in my life recently, very, very, very clearly.
Oh, this is interesting. And I'm wondering, because it's mama at the beginning, is that Kila or Kia? Because
I
the
don't
double
know.
L is a ya sound. Like
don't
mama,
know.
like, yeah, let's find out.
What number is she?
32. Like
She's an
Pachamama.
Incan goddess.
Yeah, I was
so
wondering.
It doesn't say how to say it, but yeah, she's Incan. Power of the cycles and seasons. This is you. The moon rules the night sky, returning full 13 times in a year. Like, she's just teaching
She
on all
just
of
said
that.
that. like 2 weeks
I can just hear your voice. Yeah, so I'll just really quickly tell you what this says, and that I'm not gonna go deep into that, but that's like the cycles and things.
Very
but
cool.
I'm gonna write this down.
Being called out left, right, and center all day.
Wait, what is-
Or is that 11?
I think it is 11
11.
because this is. That is not right. Oh wait, I came up to Caredwin first. So this is obviously on the card. It says infinite potential. So she is a Celtic goddess, and she's talking about the power that resides in your womb and your heart and the chalice of your mind. So and she's big about the cauldron, right?
Oh yeah, Caredwin has a cauldron.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think she's like a really magical witchy goddess.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Call me out. Do it.
So, you know, she must be in your energy.
Call me out.
And then we've got
This is why you bring your best friend to these
Oh,
things.
Bridget.
Oh, Bridget.
You're 8.
Thank you. Yeah, so hers says creative spark, and Bridget is a fire goddess,
Mhm.
and why'd you do that?
Oh,
Were you just looking?
yeah, because inspiration is fire in the head.
Oh, nice. Okay. So yeah, and she's also a water goddess. Isn't she associated with wells?
She's the equivalent to Hecate. So Hecate has 3 roads that come together. Bridget has 3 streams that come together, and so that's
Okay.
the holy site. Yeah. And Morgan's a triple goddess too, so that might be. They might. Are you doing your fish impersonation?
This is my I'm being called out.
So also this is talking about embracing the fairy realm in this and creativity.
32.
I never said it cycles, but in divine order.
I like order.
Oh,
You do like
Goddess Mama Kia, welcome to the divine moon dance. We
Oh.
want to see your moon dance. Okay, so here's what we're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Shoot, I thought. Okay.
11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
11.
away.
Say one thing, and if it's lyrics to a song, it's gonna come in my head.
Oh,
So
mhm.
I know that she's the goddess of harvest. She's a mother goddess,
Mhm.
and so nurturing and nourishment both. What did she say?
Nurture.
On there? So and grain and
Mhm.
harvest. So she's got the weakness. So and this is talking about really tapping into her nurturing love and abundance. I'm always harvesting. Yes. So nourish yourself too is what she's saying.
Mm.
Trust your love.
There's another slap in the face, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Being called out.
Okay, so let me you keep your cards for now because I'm gonna and just kind of give a look at the card. We're gonna get into just a little bit of an exercise. It won't be too long, but it might be the most impactful part of all of this. Hopefully it's fun. And just see what elements in the card, that kind of stick out to you. As interesting, as beautiful, as strange. Cool, now let your arms rest, let the card rest, and I want you to close your eyes. Nice deep breath in. And maybe one more. When you breathe in, breathe into the backside of your body, and when you breathe out, just let the chair hold you right there, relaxing the body. And then noticing that the breath is coming through you and to you, unsolicited by you. It's being gifted. Your body knows how to breathe. You don't have to try. Notice as the inhalation turns to an exhalation, and then that exhalation turns back to an inhalation. And I want you to kind of on the next inhalation, let your awareness go to like you're breathing down into the chamber of your heart. And when you exhale, it's like you're dropping down lower. It's almost like the backside of your heart is a deep, deep chamber that goes all the way down into your womb. Like there's this energetic connection. So you're breathing in all the way down, exhaling down even further. All the way down. And in that cosmic womb chamber, so like you drop all the way down, breathing in, all the way down. And if you can't quite feel that, or see that, just imagine that you are in the the center of the universe, which is actually at the center of your womb. So it should be dark. Maybe it's light to you, but it should be dark, rich, fertile, potential. It's like if you were out in outer space and couldn't see any starlight per se, and it was just like you're out there and it's super dark, and maybe you can hear the whooshing of the void itself, of the aliveness of the cosmos. And maybe you feel like you are that whooshing of the cosmos, or the fabric of the cosmos, this darkness, this rich, fertile, mysterious potential. And now you notice a light of some sort, and this light begins to come closer and take shape, and we're not quite sure if you're moving towards it or it's moving towards you, but it is getting clearer and bigger because it's getting closer, and it begins to look like your goddess. And so Kiridwin, Demeter, Mamakita, and it might look like on the card, it might look different. It might have different elements. It might be more ethereal. And just allow her to reveal her essence to you. How does she feel? What's her energy like? Is it like anything like was described, or is it a little different? Does she have any adornments like jewelry, or does she have any power objects like a staff or a sword or a stick, or does she have any power animals with her? What color is she wearing? What's radiating from her eyes? Does she smell like the earth, like the sea? Does she carry the essence of fire or water or something else? And what does she want you to know about her right now? Not what we say about her. What does she want you to? What does she want to gift to you from within yourself about her? What does she want to unlock in you that is her essence? What does she want you to know? Attune to, recognize. What else? What else does she want you to see? Feel. How does she want to empower you and wake you up in your own body, in your own magic, your own existence? And how does she want you to work with her? Or does she want you to continue working with her? What else? Is there anything else, or is she just holding stillness and space with you now? And she now moves closer to you, looking you square in the eye. Feel her. You feel her body. She's moving to embrace you. You feel her energy before you feel her body. You feel her energy as she hugs you. And you recognize that quality within yourself. herself as she merges into. Notice that the body is breathing. Notice the spaciousness surrounding your body, including the other bodies here in this room. And you notice your breath. In the breath. And then bring your awareness to the back of your eyelids and slowly open your eyes with a soft gaze. And let your sense of sight fully return. And I'll just see if you want to jot something down so you don't forget, feel free to do that. But anybody have anything you want to share too?
I can't see anything, but I feel everything.
Well, that's perfect.
It's like, don't really like so much story,
Yeah. I think
Did
heard
you
it,
already
didn't
share
you?
that?
but not.
About me not seeing things, but
Yes.
feeling.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
It's weird. Like I can, like light, it moves light, but it's still dark,
Mhm.
and it's like, it just is not, I feel it, all of it, but I can't see it.
So what was the main thing that you felt in that? Or three key things? One key thing, three key things.
I'm not embracing her enough, like in my, like I need to. That was like the biggest thing. Like I feel like she was not like scolding me, but like being like, "Hello, I'm here." And then I just like I felt the embrace. That was crazy.
Mm.
So I'm not I'm definitely like main message was like not
That's powerful.
embracing. Yeah.
Alright, you want to take a picture of it?
No, I'm gonna get that back, I think.
I don't feel like we have any at the moment, but we can get it for you,
Okay.
for sure. And she didn't say anything to me, but she did. It's very strange. I'm gonna have to look more into it, but she showed me honey,
Mm.
and the hexagram of the honeycomb. So I'm gonna have to dive deeper into that.
Yeah.
Because what I know of honey is from studying Middle Eastern drumming, because the name Melissa comes from Militza, which means bee priestess. So that's all I know. So I'm wondering, like, okay, what is yeah, am I, yeah, so yeah.
I know about the priestesses. Yeah, and drummer. The
Mm.
drummer and the Melissa lineages,
Mhm.
which the migrants were supposed to be under that as the umbrella.
Mm.
That's cool.
Mm.
Very nice. Thank you. I also I don't see or feel what's going on, and I didn't really see what she was really laying on. She had her hands out to me, and they had the symbol on her palms of her hands, both of them, and she had a crown of light, and she embraced it.
Mm.
And I just kept hearing, try, just try, just try. Keep discovering, keep finding joy, just try.
Kind of like don't give up. Yeah.
It's so awesome. And obviously that impacted you.
Yeah. I've had a really rough day, week, past couple of months, and just
Life has not seemed joyful or hopeful. And then she's like, but keep
trying. And the only way I could describe the feeling of the crown is the joy of discovery.
Mm.
It's freaking awesome.
And I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, look at your gear right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
Like, you're living. You're here with us. Like, not everybody just shows up on a whim at a class, you know what I mean, or a gathering or whatever. That's living. That's more than trying. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's your sign.
When I'm not, when I'm not trying, I'm in my bed. So,
I mean,
no.
I randomly quit my job today. Just like the whole future is uncertain.
Mhm.
Woohoo!
Huge,
Yeah.
huge day of anxiety. It's just like okay.
The best thing is there
Mhm.
are thousands of jobs out there.
Oh my God.
Right now, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You can walk in tomorrow and
I mean-
get whatever job you want to, girl.
As of
Yeah.
right now, the
Mhm.
idea is to, and that is terrifying. And
So try.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yay!
One of the, it's not like a rule or anything, but one of the things I learned studying Wicca is that the things that scare you are the things you need to just kind of embrace.
And that's what the Morgan was teaching me.
Yeah,
And she's
yeah.
coming to help me with my gender transformation. I don't know if that's the words that elude me right now. Transition. But I mean, like she's even given me a vision of what I look like with my surgery scars. Like,
Mm.
so that has been what I focused on. And now it's like, oh, where's my
Mm.
Oh, you're so brave. Yeah. Living on the edge like that's not comfortable.
Mhm.
But thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah.
Because it was like doing the research of the morning to hear about Hecate, hear about It's like,
Mhm.
well, right now Morgan is yelling at me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm focusing on her. I didn't know that Bridget was
Mhm.
it's hard. Yay! Your turn, buddy. No, it's not right.
Um, so she did not have the element in her forehead. Very white and blue, holy cow,
Mm.
for me. And then in her right hand, a sphere of air.
Mm.
Didn't really say much. With the other hand, she just waved. And all the blacks are going to color.
Oh, I'm sorry, all what?
All the blacks are getting color.
Oh.
And she goes, stop being great. Which kind of brings me back to my shutdown when I was at 12. So I just started like reopening myself back up to basically my spirituality in a
Mhm.
sense. And basically she just said focus on what you're doing. And today is off venturing and offering stuff to Gaia.
Mm.
And when we were closing, and you were basically telling us like to mark out almost. My depiction of Hera was on the left. Gaia was towards the back. And she put both her hands together to make the ball even bigger. And then here in the void, you don't need to see me yet. And then, yeah, going back to it. So, wake up, like, knock it off.
It's amazing how that will happen when you come here. You're just like, oh yeah, okay. So now I
Oh, my bad, my bad.
stop
Oh.
screaming.
screaming at me already. I get it. Do you?
I get it.
I don't get it. I get it.
I get it.
I just don't quite get it.
Right, yeah.
That's I don't know. I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I don't get anything. But that's part of the cool thing is like I said, walking that edge is I'm staying here. I'm staying present too. I'm staying alert. I'm involving, and I have no idea what's happening next. And when you're really doing that, you're okay with that. When you're not, when you're feeling called to live on the edge, but you're not doing that, then it's scary. Then it's scary and there's doubt and fear. But when you're doing it, the mind can chime in. What are we doing? Where are we going? How are we doing this? And you go, I gotta just stay right here because if I pay attention to that thought, I'm gonna fall off this cliff. So nobody ever knows what they're doing. I feel very confident in that, and it's comfortable for me now. Until some big changes, then I'm like, oh shit. This again? Okay. What was that formula again? Oh, wait. Yes, like Mary said, lean into what scares you. Okay, I'll do that again.
Within reason, like don't go like poking a bear or something.
No.
But like
No. But it's true. Every big, cool, bad, great thing that I've done has been terrifying to me. Terrifying to me. I didn't know how I was going to achieve it. I had to be bold and courageous. And then there's all of the cool moments that, like if I'm staying on track, meaning I'm going to keep going, keep trying, keep showing up. Sometimes it's very mundane and quiet for a while. Doesn't mean that we're doing anything wrong. It can't be like staccato all the time. Whew. So anyway, I'll take your cards, or unless you want to take a picture of them. Okay. All right. Stop with it. Sweet. So again, if you wanted to work with her, you can, like I said, meditate on her name. You can create some kind of altar space that represents, whether it has an image or a statue of this particular goddess or something that just relates to like the moon or the wheel of the year, or you can create whatever you want. She's got a lot of beautiful pieces, and anything, there's something gold. It can be anything, and it's a reminder to you to recognize, to stay attuned, to pay attention. And like, where are the places where I'm not embracing? How does that I can see today? You know what I mean? And later on, you're gonna go, whoa, okay, all right. There was a lot of room there. I didn't see.
Yeah.
And that's today. Today is the moment. And the next thing you know, like I said, it's a true medicine for you. It's a true ally for you. It's not the card. It's not the name. It's qualities. Energy. Yeah. And maybe, it's two different things. It's in us, and then it's also like, maybe, I don't know, if I call on the wind, sometimes it seems like it comes. So it can be outside of us as well as inside of us. I just always, because most of us have some indoctrination and conditioning around looking for something outside of us that is a higher power. I like God, this dude God in the sky, and I have to go through a church to get.
You have to go through another dude to get to that dude.
Yeah. I like to break that and be like, look, it's in us as well. It's in us as well as, yes, you can call on these things to help you to outside and both. I find it to be really helpful, and you look around at the women and you're like, you know, it can be fun to be like, she's got a lot of that energy, maybe not so much of that energy. You know, it's fun to just play with that, not to put people in boxes, but to practice it and look for it yourself. Like, I think Mary Scott does already have a lot of moon goddess energy, a lot of magical energy. I think you have like whatever the goddesses carried when, and you know, the cauldron, the witch goddess have a lot of that. I love the priestess on the side, you know, that's like presented itself to you. I think you are, I mean, with the dancing and everything, like you have to carry that person. You obviously, I'm just gonna give a little assessment here, and I can a grain of salt to everyone, but this, you do have a lot of earth energy, but you also have like it's, you have a lot of masculine energy too, so I can see where that Demeter Mother Earth energy is going. Nurture you, like bring, feel free to receive also,
Right.
besides just manifester,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
like, but you have some of that dark energy in you, you know. You definitely have some of that crossroads, I could say, kind of.
That's okay though.
I think
I love her.
I feel like I try to like block that out so much throughout my life that like that's one of the barriers I'm having to,
From
like,
conditioning though?
yeah, I
Okay.
think conditioning from it.
Yeah.
I think it just like having to constantly like rein in that portion of myself and like be like seen and not heard and like things like that, but it just kind of like went away.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, you're perfect exactly as you are. And if there's something wanting to emerge, like for you to find out something new about yourself, that's awesome. You know?
I want it to go away. I work on it a lot. I'm working on it. So, like,
Which part? In
I just
particular?
want the blocks. Like I can
Oh.
feel the block. Like I feel like I've been just like the wall. Like I've been holding up this wall to block out that portion of me for so long that it's like it doesn't want to crumble. And I'm like, where is that? Like, where's that soft spot? Let's get in there and like.
Do you know, I felt that same way until so I had a period of, this isn't gonna be good news for you, but so I found out I was pregnant. My sister died a couple months later, had the baby, and my dad died. And all that going on, the other things happened as well. But it was like initiation after initiation after, like, your ego is identified with this. Tear, crashing it all down. With the unbeknownst to me, it just sucked. You know, it was just intense. But on the other side of it all, it was like all this stuff I've been holding up. I needed that amount to move this thing. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't. Okay. I felt that same way. Like there's something I cannot figure out how to feel vulnerable. Let this just be here. But you remember I was talking about Alice Armstrong?
Yeah.
Some of what she shared in her YouTube videos that I've watched was helpful for me to like start stepping in that direction and feeling into that and seeing some practical moments where I'm just in this natural offensive mode all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and to go, okay, this is where it's happening. So what do I do different? I'm just gonna start with breathing and relaxing my body.
That's what I've been trying to like work on anytime, you know, the X is like being the X. Like when it comes to the kid, I'm just like, I can't let it out. Just breathe through it and not like give him the ration I want to give him because it's not gonna make any difference. So like I feel like that's kind of holding back too, but like in a good, like I'm trying to focus on being not taking time bomb.
Well, I mean, that's very feminine too.
Right? Mama bear, man. Like, don't
Yeah, I
mess
know.
with mama
But,
bear.
I'm excited to watch how it unfolds for you. Sometimes I think we can rush anything. You know what I mean? It's like a plant growing at its
Yeah.
own pace.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're an impatient person like me, like grow,
Yeah.
so
Come on.
yeah, I've had to learn that and relearn that.
Patience. I found patience.
Fierceness.
Fierceness.
You can call it that.
Impatience.
Very.
Uh-huh.
I'll into that.
You have a beautiful, beautiful heart, though. It's like ancient, wise heart. That's what I see coming off of you. And I don't know, I haven't been with either of you before, but that's the main thing I can see. And radiance. Radiance. You're welcome.
You got those eyes, girl. You got those eyes.
I mean, Carridwen's like got the gold and the white, like her eyes. Did you see her eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Mhm.
Lakshmi coming right out of it.
Yeah, I can see so much.
I love Holly.
Mhm.
Holly and the Morgan go right together.
So I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna wait on you.
Don't believe what you see in like the which is it Temple of Doom?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
that one?
I think it is
Oh,
that
it's
one.
Kalima!
forever.
Yeah, don't
She's
say
she's
no.
also mama goddess,
Yeah.
nurturer,
So don't believe
destroyer
what,
of
like
ignorance.
everything here. That's what I'm trying to
Because my
Destroyer of ignorance. That is you in a nutshell.
say.
yes, it is. However, when it comes to probably for me, it's mostly because I'm like, I'm not. So I'm gonna learn a little bit, and
Mm.
then
I mean, she was one of the first goddesses I worked with when I was like probably 20, and I don't advise exploring her lightly. So,
Yeah.
hence I'm like,
but she does have,
I was like, you're not ready for it yet.
she does have also that like a Demeter side to her, but she's intense for sure. My TV was going and everything was just going wrong in my life when I put her on my altar. I'm like, is this because of you? Like everything's going to hell fast. Oh my God. Well, that's beautiful. We'll have to let us know how that goes.
For me, for now, that was our adventure today, actually.
We're offerings.
That's the same thing. Yeah.
And then I went to like part of the one river where we like to go, and I'm like, I want to take the plane, Burbank, to make a statue. So I brought over some flowers to guys garden. I'm like, change. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I got a little lightheaded, but not like, oh my goodness, it's like really bad handwriting. I was like kind of like alleviated, like, cool, you're done, kind of lightheaded. Then we came here.
Wow.
And then we heard that this was happening tonight. And then we were like, okay, well, we have to come.
But yep, no, we
I see in you like rainbow. I'm not talking like, I'm not trying to, and I'm gonna say some things that are gonna sound a certain way, but I don't just mean it. Like there is an ethereal, very sensitive, very beautiful energy about you that it is like that, the essence of a rainbow, the essence of fairy, and I mean that in
Like eyebrows?
Yeah, like iris
Okay.
energy. Yeah, but I see it in um. Sometimes people can use those exact things to diminish somebody, or to make fun of. Oh, airy fairy, and those kinds of things. That is, and so and I think well, I for sure was, and so I'm sensitive to those words, and I used to really, really like feel like someone was stabbing me in the heart if they said I was sweet, if they said I was fairy like, if they said those things, because I felt like it meant nobody was ever going to take me seriously because I was
okay.
cute so much.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was always, my mom always said, you're the sensitive one. And the thing is that I think that you're like this really, really cosmic star seed energy, and you
Hence
are.
why that oracle deck, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Which
The Starseed Oracle.
Oh,
The one I
okay.
have in
She
my room.
brought it and brought it to my house, and I was playing with it. I was like, this is pretty. And then it keeps popping up on Amazon and on my Facebook ads and on my Instagram ads. I'm like, fine, fine. When I have money again, that is the first one I will get.
Yeah.
Well, like Rachel said, it's not gonna be hard for you. Everybody's hiring. Everybody's hiring. Well, not us,
As
but
a-
everybody else is
Yeah.
hiring.
My father works in movie right now, so I'm joining him
Oh.
as his crew until I get my own business up off the ground.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's awesome.
What would it be?
The business I'm trying to build is, I call it Lakeway Treasures, and I'm taking vintage antique plates that maybe are chipped, the paint's faded, they're broken, or they're not part of a complete set anymore. And then I take paint, and I paint quotes, words, names, whatever that you want on it in my calligraphy. I taught myself calligraphy since 6th grade, and I want to take those and sell them as hopefully a decor for now, because I only have acrylic paints. But again, once this is up and off the ground and I've saved some money, I can purchase myself a kiln and actually make them food safe wares. But as of right now, they're just decor. The idea is just to use my calligraphy that
Yeah.
I've spent so much time and effort, and I just love to do, and turn it into something that I can do full time. And that was up. As of right now, it hasn't gone away, and all of the signs today are like, do that, do it, do it.
Well, and in this day and age with like Etsy, there's a niche out. Well, that's your niche, but I mean, there's an audience for that. Whereas back in the day, something like that might not have been successful, but it's the right time for something.
Yeah, and
like
the
that.
other reason the Morgan is coming from that is that I have ventured into the realm of trying to become a music producer, a songwriter, and as a non-binary individual, it is extremely hard to be considered like desirable. They really just want men in that field.
Oh, I'm like, what does it matter?
It's really hard to
But
create
yeah,
a reputation for yourself
Yeah. Okay.
as a female, and now as a female non-binary. It's just that, and now Brigid is like, do it. So I all the pieces are like sort of falling into place, but I have a lot of stakes that I have to jump.
Just don't wait for somebody to give you permission, because you'll be waiting forever.
Yeah.
Don't wait for somebody to believe in you want to do, and don't wait for the right things to show up. Just start doing it. Just start doing it. You want to produce
Even if
music,
it's not perfect right
find
now.
somebody who will let you
Yeah.
produce their music practice.
Yeah.
Then you'll be a music producer.
As of right now, I don't even know how to hook up a mic to a computer, so I need to learn that first.
Well, good.
Little plug. Goes in there.
Get this party started, Leo.
But seriously, like if you just start getting stuff out there, and just do it.
I mean, I
You
took
know?
the leap today. We have a family friend, my dad has, his son is in the music industry already, and he has already told me, if you're ready, let me know. So I texted him today, and he sent me another message in the middle of all this. So I'm waiting to see what that says, but the paths are opening themselves up. Like you said, that it's just streams of water.
Mhm.
And I walked into the river today while Daisy's doing her thing, and I just like closed my eyes and I saw water. The water wasn't rushing by me sideways anymore, it was rushing forward,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
away from me, even though I was standing sideways in a current.
Yeah.
And again, just the go forward was what I heard.
And honestly, because you said that the job that you quit was very toxic.
Do it.
And
know.
that was probably holding you back. You know?
Since I had just one friend at that job who was the manager, he put all his time and effort and everything into this place, and then he hired me. I was like, cool, I'm gonna put all of my time and effort and everything into this place.
Mhm.
That got shut in my face. So
That happens.
go now. The other door has shut and the other one has opened, and now I gotta go.
That's what happened to me last year, and now I'm
Yay!
doing my business. So you can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Check it
It's just getting
out.
off the ground, but like I am doing it.
Go.
Going. It's been pretty good so far. So you're just gonna do it. I do farmers market.
Cool.
So like
Cool.
I take my products to the Cadillac farmers market, and it's been so far so good.
That we're going, my dad and I are going to go meet her son yesterday or tomorrow. We're gonna move stuff for this lovely lady he's worked with before, and she's expressed interest in hiring him for his own carpentry. So she deals in antiques. Maybe I can
There you go.
talk to her about
Yeah.
what kind of stuff I need to be paying attention to in this field
Yeah.
when it comes to
Mhm.
marketing and stuff. So it's like
Mhm.
there's stuff happening.
Yeah.
I just have to grab it.
And there's I mean, when it comes to interior decor, there's a lot of taking stuff not that the older I'm like not getting my words out, but the things that from like the 60s, 70s, whatever, that I mean that's what people are gravitating towards anyway.
Exactly.
You know.
Vintage. I mean,
Yeah.
people are calling the 2000s vintage, and I'm like, no.
Well, okay.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Please.
No.
I know.
Y2K is not vintage.
But I'm like,
Tell me that.
I'm an old age.
People are like, even me, I'm like, Y2K is not vintage. It's just like-
2000 is vintage
Oh,
furniture.
yeah.
And I was like, no, I love you. Thought process, poof, gone.
Happens.
It's not important.
Well, I don't have anything else. There's like I said, so many different ways you can work with this, notice it, play with it, acknowledge it. But one thing I want to say is that, you know, also there's quizzes you can take online. Which archetype are you? Which
Oh,
goddess
yeah.
archetype
Oh.
are you?
BuzzFeed is the worst, Brandon.
Mhm.
One of
Yeah.
the first books that I read on goddess stuff, I think, was Jean Shinoda Boland's Goddesses in Every Woman. And she was a young, like, fairly young psychologist, but also very big in the contemporary women's art movement. And she wound up also writing a book on women's circles. So she's now as well. But that's cool to kind of give you an indication, like I was talking about Sally Kempton's book. She also has, she have a quiz on her page or at the back of the book, or anyway, when I read through, I saw myself in lots of the goddesses, my personality type, but there was something in particular about Saraswati is one of my archetypes, and I wouldn't have thought so, but she's a goddess of knowledge, wisdom, the arts, and I am a writer and I'm a teacher, and I've been single a lot in my life, And she addresses that, how a woman who's internally so devoted to her thing, like often winds up being alone. And I was like, okay, Sally. But I could relate to the struggles she was depicting, why a woman who's devoted to her academic work or her, her thing, as she herself has been, writer of the book. And it was helpful for me not to put myself in a box, but to understand a particular quality that I have, that I could continue or I could shift or whatever I want to do with that. But it's a very real underlying part of what I've been working with. So if you want to strengthen another quality and you look at who's an archetype that I don't have so much. So I look at other goddesses and it's like, that one right there, I remember swearing that off when I was a little girl. Huh. It happened to be the goddess of marriage and na-na-na-na-nas. Like I called it the Betty Crocker thing, and I'm never gonna do that.
Oh.
And I thought I needed to choose one or the other. And so it was very telling for me. This is just another way, and it's somewhat analytical way, but to observe these things. And not to, again, we're not stringent and strict and like none of us fit in one box. But if you can say this has been a strong part of who I am, and I want to have a different experience of life. So I wonder how I can stay alert to this, but maybe more than focus on what I don't want, focus on what I do want. And these are the qualities that I do want. So I don't know. I have no idea how to strengthen this, but I'm gonna play with that, find out. So that's all I got.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
So
everybody.
I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you. Yay. Come hang out with us again.
Yeah.
We'd already decided this is our weekly date night.
I'm gonna go to the phone, go home.